You won't believe what one woman did just to prove a point. An HOA board member decided to take matters into her own hands and blocked a school bus from entering her neighborhood. Yep, a full-size school bus loaded with kids stuck on the road because Karen said it was against community policy. This wild moment happened in a quiet suburban area where most people just want to get through the day without drama, but not this time. The bus driver, completely stunned, tried reasoning with her. Parents started gathering, confused and frustrated, and the kids inside were left waiting, watching this strange standoff unfold right in front of them. What started as a simple school pickup turned into a heated neighborhood showdown that had everyone talking and filming. Turns out, this wasn't the first time this HOA Karen had stirred things up in the community, but today was different. Today, things went too far. Police were called, voices were raised, and by the end of it, she found herself in handcuffs, facing an arrest for obstruction. So what exactly pushed her to take such a bold and bizarre stand? Was it really about the rules, or was something deeper going on? And how did the community react once the video hit Reddit's entitled people thread? Stick around, because this story is just getting started. This wasn't just a random outburst, this had been brewing for weeks. Neighbors say that HOA board member, who many now call Karen, had been complaining about the school bus for a while. She claimed it was too big, too loud, and made the neighborhood look messy. But let's be real, this was a public school bus just doing its job, dropping off and picking up kids like it does in every normal community. Still, she insisted it violated some vague HOA regulation about non-residential vehicles, and that was all she needed to justify her actions. People in the neighborhood were split. Some were just tired of the drama, while others had already had run-ins with Karen over things like mailbox colors or leaving trash bins out a few minutes too long. Parents especially were on edge. It's one thing to argue over lawn signs, but blocking a school bus, that's a whole new level. And it's not like the bus driver was trying to pick a fight. She just wanted to finish her route and get these kids home. But Karen stood her ground, arms crossed, phone in hand, repeating her demands like she was guarding a top-secret facility. No one expected it to escalate like this, but it did. And the moment someone hit record, everything changed. As the video of the standoff spread through the neighborhood group chat, and then straight onto Reddit's entitled people thread, more details started pouring in. Apparently, this wasn't the first time Karen had caused a scene, just the first time it was caught on camera. One neighbor mentioned how she once tried to fine a family for chalk drawings on their driveway. Another shared that Karen had called the HOA meeting to order just to lecture people about protecting property values by limiting who could drive through the community. Meanwhile, the bus driver, Maria, a longtime employee of the school district, was left shaken but professional. She later told a parent she'd never seen anything like this in her 15 years on the job. All she wanted was to keep the kids safe and stay on schedule. And the kids, they were confused, nervous, some even filming the moment from the bus windows, their voices whispering through the footage now going viral. Parents started calling the school, demanding answers. The school district launched a quick review, and the HOA, completely silent. No statement, no emails, just rumors swirling around about an emergency board meeting and possible legal steps. At the same time, local news outlets caught wind of the story, and suddenly this quiet cul-de-sac had become the center of a very public mess. By the next morning, the video had already hit thousands of views online, and the comment section was blowing up. People from all over were chiming in, calling it peak HOA Karen behavior, and demanding some kind of consequence. Hashtags like #Busgate and #HOA Karen started trending locally. But while the internet was having a field day, tension in the neighborhood reached a breaking point. Parents gathered near the bus stop earlier than usual, their eyes scanning for signs of more drama. Some were angry, some just worried. A few even started organizing a petition to remove Karen from the HOA board altogether. Meanwhile, kids were nervous about getting on the bus again, unsure if they'd be caught in another scene. Karen, on the other hand, hadn't backed down. According to neighbors, she was doubling down, sending emails to the HOA defending her actions, citing unauthorized vehicle access, and even hinting that legal action might be taken against a school district for not following community protocol. The tone was cold, formal, and full of vague threats. Then came the twist no one expected. That afternoon, just as the bus was making its usual stop, Karen appeared again. Not at a distance this time, but right in front of the bus, arms up, blocking it once more. This time, though, things were different. Police were already nearby, watching, waiting. As the police slowly approached, the crowd that had gathered at the end of the street held their breath. Parents, neighbors, even some kids who had gotten off early, all stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. Everyone expected Karen to step aside now that law enforcement was involved. But instead, she did the unthinkable. She pulled out a binder. A thick one, filled with printed HOA documents, highlighted pages, and handwritten notes. She waved it like a badge, trying to argue that she had the legal right to stop the bus from entering what she kept calling private residential property. But the real twist came when one of the officers calmly asked for her ID, and she refused, loudly, repeatedly. That's when the tension hit a new level. The officer's tone changed, and you could feel the air shift. What was supposed to be a peaceful check-in quickly escalated as she began raising her voice, insisting the police were overstepping. At that moment, a second officer recognized her from a previous unrelated incident, something about a noise complaint gone wrong a few months back. That changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a blocked school bus anymore. It was about a pattern, a history of disruption. And with her still standing firm, surrounded by flashing lights and a growing crowd, it was clear this wasn't going to end quietly. Just as the second officer stepped forward to speak with her, Karen suddenly threw her binder down on the ground and shouted that the entire neighborhood would regret this. The moment was tense. Neighbors gasped, the kids on the bus peered out in stunned silence, and the officers didn't hesitate. Within seconds, they moved in and calmly placed her in handcuffs, officially arresting her for obstruction and failure to comply. The parents clapped, not out of cruelty, but out of pure relief. The kids finally got to go home, and the school bus pulled away with an officer escort to make sure there were no more issues. It seemed like the whole mess was finally over. But just when everyone thought that was the end, a new twist surfaced. One of the neighbors, quiet, friendly, and always under the radar, revealed he had been recording HOA meetings for months. Turns out, Karen had been bending rules for herself all along: unapproved renovations, misuse of HOA funds, and even pushing through fines against people she personally didn't like. That video, it didn't just go to Reddit this time. It went straight to the local news and a lawyer. So while the school bus now rolls through peacefully and the kids feel safe again, the neighborhood's real story's just beginning. Karen's arrest, that was only the start. In the weeks that followed, the neighborhood finally started to breathe again. The HOA launched an internal investigation, and Karen was officially removed from the board. A new team stepped in, people actually willing to listen, compromise, and focus on the well-being of the community. The school bus returned to its regular route without issue, and Maria, the bus driver, was even honored at a local event for her calm and professional handling of the whole situation. The neighbor who had the recordings ended up sharing them with a lawyer representing several families who had been unfairly fined or targeted by Karen in the past. With the video evidence and the viral attention from Reddit's entitled people thread, the case gained real traction. No one expected so much to come from a blocked school bus, but in the end, it brought light to a bigger problem. People in the neighborhood now talk more, help each other out, and stay involved in decisions that affect everyone. The story became a reminder that standing up to entitled behavior, even when it's uncomfortable, can lead to real change. And as for Karen, let's just say the days of binder-waving HOA drama are finally behind them.